My beloved child, I am commanding you to stop right now and open this message. Do not move past this moment. Do not tell yourself you will come back later. This is not coincidence, and this is not something you can delay, because I need to speak to you today. I know how quickly your fingers move. I know how easily your attention shifts. I know how many voices are calling for you at once. But hear me now. Please hear me. The enemy does not want you to receive this. And what I am about to reveal cannot wait another second. I know you were busy just a moment ago. I know your mind is full, your heart tired, your spirit stretched thin like a rope pulled beyond its limit. I know you may already be thinking about what you need to do next, what you haven't finished, what you feel behind on. But I am asking you, my child, to pause, just long enough to listen, because this moment was arranged. I stepped into your path with purpose. I interrupted your flow because I refuse to let you miss what your soul has been crying out for. Even when your lips have stayed silent, you may not realize how close you were to scrolling past this, and you may not realize how significant that would have been. Not because I would stop loving you, never that, but because you would have walked past a door I opened with clear intention. The enemy understands timing. He understands moments. He understands that if he can delay you, distract you, or exhaust you, he doesn't need to confront you directly. That is why everything around you feels rushed. That is why your life has felt loud. That is why stillness has been so hard to find. But I am louder than the noise, and my voice is reaching you now. I am not commanding you because I am angry with you. I am commanding you because I am protecting you. I am not raising my voice in frustration. I am raising it in urgency. Like a father who sees danger his child cannot yet see, I am calling out before you take another step. I know you are strong. I know you have endured much. I know you have learned how to keep moving even when you are hurting. But there are moments when strength alone is not enough. There are moments when listening becomes survival. You have been carrying questions you don't know how to ask. You have been feeling a stirring you cannot fully explain. There has been a sense deep inside you that something is about to change, that something needs to change, but you have not known where to turn or what to trust. You have wondered if you heard me correctly in the past. You have wondered if you waited too long, or moved too soon, or missed something important. Those thoughts did not come from nowhere. They are the reason I am speaking now. I see the quiet battles you fight. I see the nights when your body rests but your mind does not. I see the way you keep showing up for others while parts of you feel unseen. I see how you try to be faithful even when you feel unsure. I see how you tell yourself to hold on just a little longer. My child, I have not been absent from any of this. I have been watching, guiding, restraining, and preparing, even when you felt alone. This message is not meant to scare you, but it is meant to wake you. There is a difference. I am not here to overwhelm you with fear, but I will not soften the truth so much that you miss its weight. What I am about to share with you is important, is personal, is timely, and it is connected to the very thing you have been praying about. Even if you stopped using words for it, you may feel unprepared to hear something urgent. You may feel too tired for anything serious. You may even feel a resistance rising up, telling you this is too much right now. That resistance is not from me. I bring clarity, not confusion. I bring peace, not pressure. But I also bring truth, and truth sometimes arrives with urgency because delay would cost you more than attention ever could. Do not mistake this moment as just another message. I do not speak lightly. I do not interrupt without reason. When I command you to listen, it is because I am about to align something that has been off balance. It is because I am about to answer something that has been unresolved. It is because I am about to protect you from a path that looks safe on the surface, but leads to deeper exhaustion. Let me explain this carefully, because I want you to understand not just what I am saying, but why I am saying it right now. You see, in your life there are moments when windows open, brief opportunities that if missed might require you to wait for other seasons before the same thing can happen again. Not because I punish hesitation, but because seasons have rhythm, timing has flow. And sometimes what fits this month will not fit next month, not because it became worse, but because your journey has moved forward. Now let me paint you a picture. Imagine you are walking on a road. You have been walking for a long time, years perhaps. You have carried burdens others do not see. You have climbed hills that made your legs shake. You have walked through valleys where the light seemed to dim. And now, you are coming to a fork from where you stand. Both paths seem reasonable. Both have signs pointing the way. Both have voices telling you to follow them. But I, from where I stand, can see what you cannot. I can see where one path leads the hidden challenges, the unnecessary burdens, the pain you don't need to carry. I can also see the other path, the one that may not look as promising right now, the one that may seem narrower, less traveled. But that path, my beloved, is watered by my grace. It is lit by my presence. It is protected by angels I have stationed along its borders. That is why I am speaking to you now, not to frighten, but to prepare, not to control, but to guide. You have the freedom to choose. I gave you that long ago, but I also gave you wisdom. And part of wisdom is knowing when to pause and ask. You see, many have stood at this very fork. Many have felt the same pull, heard the same voices, and some chose based on what looked best at the moment. They chose based on speed or convenience, or because everyone else seemed to be going that way. But later, when their feet ached and their hearts grew heavy, they remembered this moment. They remembered the moment they felt the urge to pause, to listen, to wait for guidance. And some wished they had. I am not sharing this to make you afraid of wrong choices. I am sharing it to show you the value of this moment. You are not the first to stand where you are standing, but you can be one who learns from those who walked before. Now, let me tell you something you need to hear deeply, carefully in your soul. Every delay you have wrestled with was never rejection. It was protection. I know it didn't feel that way to you. I know there were moments when the waiting felt like silence, and the silence felt like absence. I know there were nights when you wondered if I had turned away, if I had decided to let you figure things out alone, if your prayers had somehow fallen short. But my child, I have never stepped away from you, not once. What you called delay was me standing between you and harm you could not see. There were decisions you were eager to make, paths you were ready to take, doors you wanted open quickly. From where you stood, they looked good, they looked safe, they looked right. But from where I stand, I could see the full road ahead. I could see where certain choices would have led you before your heart was ready, before your spirit was strengthened, before your discernment was sharp enough to protect you. Let me explain this more deeply, because I want you to truly understand how I work. When you see a closed door, you tend to focus on the loss, what you didn't receive, where you couldn't go, whom you couldn't reach. But you don't see what I did behind the scenes, like a father standing between his child and a poisonous snake hidden in the grass. I stepped in to block it. The child only sees the father blocking the path, not allowing exploration. It doesn't see the snake. It doesn't understand the danger. All it knows is something interesting seems to be ahead, and the father is saying no. Later, when the child grows and understands more, it can look back and say, "Dad saved my life that day." But in the moment, all it felt was frustration. My beloved, how many times have I stood between you and snakes you couldn't see? How many times was my "no, actually I love you too much to let this hurt you"? There were people involved in that situation who were not what they seemed. There were tensions beneath the surface that later erupted. There were weaknesses in the foundation that later collapsed. And if you had been there when it fell, you would have been wounded in ways you might never have fully recovered from. I am not saying this to make you paranoid about the past. I am saying this to show you that my silence was never empty. It was intentional. While you were waiting, I was preparing you in ways you didn't recognize at the time. I was strengthening your inner life. I was teaching you discernment instead of impulse. I was building patience where haste once ruled. I was deepening your reliance on me rather than on circumstances. You didn't feel stronger, but you were becoming stronger. Growth often feels like discomfort before it feels like confidence. I was also preparing the situation you were praying about. There were other hearts involved. Other variables had to shift. Other things had to be removed, corrected, or aligned. If I had answered you too soon, the outcome would not have lasted. It would have crumbled under pressure. It would have demanded more from you than it could give back. My love for you would not allow that. I would rather let you wait than give you something that would break you later. You were not forgotten during the delay. You were not placed on hold. You were not pushed to the side. Every moment of waiting was accounted for. Every tear you shed in confusion was seen. Every sigh you released in frustration was heard. I was with you in the waiting just as much as I will be with you in the fulfillment. The same hands that seem still are the hands that hold your future securely. There were attacks aimed at your confidence, at your peace, at your identity. Some of them came through doubt. Some came through comparison. Some came through voices that made you question your worth and your direction. You felt those attacks, but you did not see the full extent of them. Had you stepped forward too soon, those attacks would have intensified. The delay gave you time to heal wounds you didn't know were still open. It gave you space to unlearn patterns that would have sabotaged you later. It gave you time to grow roots deep enough to withstand what is coming. My child, timing matters more than desire. You wanted the answer quickly because you were tired of uncertainty. I understand that, but certainty without readiness leads to fear, not peace. I was not withholding the answer because you were unworthy. I was guarding it because you are precious. I was not testing your patience for my own sake. I was protecting your future for yours. I know there were moments when you felt exposed, when waiting made you feel vulnerable. You felt like everyone else was moving forward while you remained in place. That comparison hurt you. It made you question if something was wrong with you. But my child, different paths require different timing. I do not rush what I value. I do not hurry what I intend to last. What I am preparing for you requires a depth that cannot be rushed into existence. You may not realize it now, but the delay changed you. It softened parts of your heart that were rigid. It strengthened parts of your spirit that were weak. It revealed motives you needed to examine and desires you needed to surrender. All of it was preparation. You are not the same person you were when you first asked the question. And that is not an accident. There were unseen battles in the spiritual realm where I stood between you and harm. You did not hear the clash. You did not feel the weight of it. Let me give you an example of how this works. Think of someone who prayed desperately for a relationship to work out. They begged me to make it happen. They could not understand why I was saying no, why I was closing that door, why I was not answering the way they wanted. Years later, they discovered that person was struggling with hidden addictions, unresolved trauma, patterns that would have destroyed them both. At the time, they could not see it. The person hid it well. Everything looked perfect on the surface, but I saw beneath the surface. I saw the future trajectory. I saw where that path led, and out of deep love, I said no. At the time, it felt like rejection. Looking back, they understood it was rescue. Or think of someone who desperately wanted a job, a promotion, an opportunity that seemed perfect. They could not understand why every door kept closing, why every interview ended in disappointment, why I seemed to be blocking their path later. They learned that company was about to undergo massive layoffs, that position was being eliminated, that opportunity would have required them to compromise values. They were not ready to compromise. Had they gotten what they wanted when they wanted it, they would have faced devastation they were not equipped to handle. These are not rare exceptions. These are common patterns of how I work. I am always looking further down the road than you can see. I am always protecting you from outcomes you cannot yet perceive. And sometimes, my greatest gift is the prayer I do not answer the way you ask me to. But protection does not always announce itself. Sometimes it looks like unanswered prayers. Sometimes it looks like closed doors. Sometimes it looks like waiting when you are ready to run. But behind that waiting was my hand, steady and deliberate, ensuring that when you move safely. I want to gently correct the belief that I was silent because I was distant. My silence was full of intention, full of care, full of preparation. I was speaking in ways that did not overwhelm you, guiding you through inner changes before external changes could occur. If I had spoken louder, you might have moved faster than wisdom allowed. So I whispered through circumstances, through delays, through moments that forced you to slow down and reflect. Trust is formed in waiting. Discernment is revealed through patience. You have been learning both, even when it felt uncomfortable. You have been learning to trust me without immediate evidence. You have been learning to rest without full understanding. That kind of faith is not shallow. It is strong, and it will serve you well in what lies ahead. My child, I know waiting has been one of the hardest things you have endured. But I want you to see it now through my eyes. You were never being pushed away. You were being pulled closer. You were never being denied. You were being defended. You were never abandoned. You were being prepared. The delay did not weaken you, it protected you. And now, because of that protection, you are standing on ground that is steadier than before. You are closer to the answer than you realize. You are safer than you know. And you can trust that every moment of waiting was held in my hands, guided by my love, and used for your good. Now let me tell you something you may need to hear multiple times before it sinks in deeply enough to change how you see the days ahead. You have not gone astray. You have not wasted time. You have not squandered your years. Every season you walked through, even the ones that felt empty, even the ones that felt like they were leading you astray, all of them were part of the path. There were lessons you learned in solitude that you could not have learned in a crowd. There was strength you developed in waiting that you could never have developed in rushing. There was clarity you gained in silence that you would have missed in the noise. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was lost. Even the moments you feel like you failed, even the choices you wish you could take back, they taught you things you needed to know for what is coming. I did not abandon you in your failures. I walked through them with you. I did not punish you for your mistakes. I used them to teach you discernment. And now, as you stand closer to what you have been praying for, you carry wisdom that only this journey could give you. Let me tell you this clearly, because I want no confusion in your heart about where you stand. You are in a season of transition. You may not feel it completely. You may not see evidence of it in every area of your life, but you are standing at the threshold. You are standing between what was and what is about to be. And in these transition spaces, the enemy often works hardest, not because you are weak, but because you are close. Let me show you some signs that you are in this season of transition. You may have noticed that things that used to bring you comfort now feel empty. Relationships that used to be enough now feel shallow. Activities that used to fill your time now feel meaningless. That is not a sign of depression. That is a sign of growth. I am expanding your capacity, and what used to fit now feels cramped. Like a child outgrowing their old clothes, you are outgrowing certain seasons, and that can feel uncomfortable before it feels liberating. You may also notice that your discomfort with normal has increased. Something in you is craving more depth, more meaning, more impact. That is not unholy dissatisfaction, that is holy hunger. I am awakening desires in you that only I can satisfy, and perhaps most notably, you may have noticed that my voice has become clearer in recent weeks. Not because I am speaking louder, but because you are listening deeper. The waiting has refined your ability to hear. The stillness has created space for you to recognize my voice among all the others. These are signs, my beloved, signs that something is shifting, that something is aligning, that what you have been waiting for is moving from the distance into reach. And the enemy knows this. He knows that if he can make you doubt right now, he can delay what I have prepared. If he can make you confused right now, he can make you step back. If he can make you exhausted right now, he can make you quit right when you are closest to breakthrough. Let me expose some of his specific tactics so you can recognize them when they come. The enemy loves to use comparison. He will show you others who seem further ahead, who received their answers faster, who appear to have it easier. He does this to make you question my fairness, my timing, my love for you specifically. But what he does not show you is the full story. He does not show you the battles those people fought in private. He does not show you the preparation they went through that you did not see. He does not show you that their path is different because their calling is different. Another tactic, he brings up your past failures at the moment you are about to step into something new. Remember when you tried this before and failed? Remember when you thought you heard God and you were wrong? What makes you think this time is different? The goal is to make you so focused on yesterday's stumbles that you miss today's open door. But my child, your past does not determine your future. Your failures taught you. They did not define you, and I specialize in giving new beginnings to those who thought they had used up all their chances. He also loves to create urgency around the wrong things while making you feel complacent about the right things. He will pressure you to make decisions quickly when you should wait, and make you wait when you should act. He distorts timing to create either impulsive mistakes or passive missed opportunities. That is why you need discernment. That is why you need to stay close to me. Because in my presence, the fog clears, the pressure lifts, and you can see what truly matters versus what is simply noise. That is why recent weeks have felt the way they have. That is why doubt has grown louder. That is why weariness has felt deeper. Not because you are failing, it is because you are near. Now let me teach you something important about discerning between my voice and the enemy's voice. This will help you walk through the coming days with clarity instead of confusion. My voice always brings peace, even when it brings challenge. It may call you to hard places, but it never leaves you in fear. It may reveal areas that need growth, but it never does so with contempt. My voice always carries hope, even when it requires change. The enemy's voice, on the other hand, always carries anxiety. It speaks of what could go wrong, of what you have missed, of why it is too late. It uses words like never and always to limit you. You will never change. You always mess up. This will never happen for you. Do you hear the difference? My voice opens possibilities. The enemy's voice closes them. My voice says, you can. I will help you. We will walk through this together. The enemy's voice says, you cannot. You are alone. You will fail. Here is a simple test. After hearing a thought, do you feel closer to me or further from me? If it draws you to me even in repentance, even in humility, it is from me. If it pushes you away in shame, in despair, in isolation, it is from the enemy. I correct. The enemy accuses. I reveal. The enemy exposes. I plan for growth. The enemy pronounces failure. Learning to discern this difference will save you countless hours of unnecessary suffering. My beloved, let me encourage you with this. The strongest campaigns often come right before the greatest breakthroughs. The heaviest resistance often appears before the most important doors. The deepest weariness often hits right before refreshing appears. And so I am telling you now not to surrender to the feeling that nothing is changing. Do not surrender to the whisper that you heard wrong. Do not surrender to the weight that feels like it is too much to carry. I am here with you. I am carrying what you cannot. I am arranging what you cannot see. I am working in places you cannot reach. And very soon, sooner than you think, you will see evidence of what I have been doing in silence. Now, as you continue from this moment, I want you to carry this in your heart. You are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are seen, known, loved, and protected. Every step you take from here forward, I am walking with you. Every decision you face, I am guiding you. Every fear that rises, I am calming it. Every doubt that tries to plant itself, I am silencing it with truth. You were designed for what is coming. You were prepared for what is waiting. You were strengthened for the journey ahead. And even when you cannot see the full road, you can trust the one who has seen it from beginning to end. Now I want to give you some practical steps to walk through the coming days. These are not burdens, these are tools to help you walk in freedom. First, start each day by reminding yourself of your identity. You are not defined by what you do, by what others think, or by what you have achieved. You are defined by my love. You are my child. That alone is enough. Second, when doubts arise, and they will, do not fight them with reasoning alone. Bring them to me in prayer. Say to me, Father, I am hearing this, and it is making me afraid. What is your truth? Then be still. Listen, allow me to replace the lie with truth. Third, guard what you allow into your mind. Not all voices have the right to speak into your life. Some relationships need to be limited. Some media sources need to be removed. If it does not bring life, build faith, or lead you closer to me, it may not belong in this season. Fourth, practice gratitude intentionally. Each day, identify 3 specific things you are grateful for, not because gratitude makes your problems disappear, but because it trains you to see my hand even in difficult seasons. Fifth, create space for stillness. Not stillness as passive waiting, but stillness as active choice. Turn off the noise, sit in my presence. Even if just 5 minutes each day, make it non-negotiable. And sixth, remember what I have done. When the future feels uncertain, look back. Remember the times I provided. Remember the doors I opened. Remember the times you thought you could not continue, but I gave you strength. My faithfulness in the past is proof of my provision in the future. These are simple practices, but they are powerful. They will anchor you when things feel unstable. They will remind you of truth when lies try to take control. They will keep you connected to me when life tries to pull you in 1,000 different directions. Now let me address something specific that many of you are feeling. What do you do when you feel stuck? When it seems like you are doing everything right, but nothing is moving? When you have prayed, fasted, believed, trusted, and still the situation looks the same? First, understand that stuck is often preparation in disguise. What looks like a standstill is often a strengthening. Think of an airplane on the runway. It sits there for a while, engines running, apparently going nowhere, but it is not stuck. It is building up the power necessary to take off. And when it does take off, that same power that seemed wasted on the ground becomes the force that lifts it into the air. You are not stuck. You are powering up. You are building momentum. You are developing the internal strength that will be required when the external opportunity arrives. Second, check what you are measuring. If you are measuring only external results, you may miss the internal transformation. Are you becoming more patient, more compassionate, more dependent on me, more secure in your identity? These are not secondary outcomes. These are primary goals. I am far more interested in who you are becoming than in what you are achieving, because who you become will determine what you can sustain. Many people get what they want before they become who they need to be to handle it, and the weight of the blessing crushes them because the foundation was not strong enough. Third, make sure you are not trying to force doors I have not opened. Persistence is good, but there is a difference between persistent faith and stubborn resistance. Persistent faith says, I will keep trusting you while I wait. Stubborn resistance says, I will keep pushing this door until it opens. One honors my timing, the other tries to override it. Ask me for the wisdom to know the difference, and be willing to let go of what you are holding if I show you it is not yours to hold. Fourth, use this time to clean house internally. When you are in a season of waiting, it is the perfect time to address issues you have been avoiding. Unforgiveness, bitterness, fear, pride. These things will sabotage your future if you carry them into your next season. I am giving you time now to deal with them so they do not derail you later. Do not waste the waiting. Use it for what it is designed for: preparation, purification, and positioning. And what you are looking for is not far. Your answer is here. Your breakthrough is coming. Your season is changing. All I ask from you in this moment is to keep listening, keep trusting, and keep walking one step at a time. Let me give you some specific promises for the days ahead. These are not vague promises, these are commitments I am making to you right now. First promise: I will never ask you to walk alone. Even in the hardest moments when you feel isolated, I am there. You may not feel me, but my presence is reality, independent of your emotions. Second promise: I will provide everything you need for each step of the journey. Not everything you want for the whole journey, but everything you need for the next step. Daily bread, grace sufficient for each trial, strength for each task. Third promise: I will use even your mistakes to grow you. Your failures do not disqualify you from my plan, they are part of it. I am the master of redemption, and nothing in your life is wasted when it is placed in my hands. Fourth promise: your breakthrough moment is coming at exactly the right time. Not too early, when you are not ready. Not too late, when the opportunity has passed. But right on time, my perfect time, your best time. Fifth promise: I will give you clarity when you need it. You do not have to figure everything out right now. You do not need to have the whole map. I will illuminate the next step when it is time to step, and that is enough. Sixth promise: what I have started in you, I will complete. You do not have to finish the work of transforming yourself. That is my work. Your work is to cooperate, to say yes, to keep showing up. I will do the rest. These promises are not wishful thinking. They are not best-case hopes. They are commitments backed by my nature. I cannot lie. I cannot fail. And I never ever give up on my children. If these words have touched your heart, if you have felt my presence in the moments you have been reading, let me know by commenting, "Yes, Lord, I surrender every part of me," below. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message today, someone who is waiting, someone who is struggling, someone who is standing at their own crossroads, share this video with them. But before you go, let me tell you this one last thing. The simplest action you can take right now is to choose trust. Not trust in your own ability, not trust that everything will be easy, but trust that I am with you, that I know what I am doing, and that I am good enough to write your story. That trust might look like saying to me right now, Father, I do not understand everything. I do not see the full picture, but I choose to trust you. I choose to rest in your love. I choose to step forward, even when I cannot see the full path. That is all I need. Not perfection, not complete understanding, just willingness. Just a heart that says yes. And from that yes, I can do more than you can imagine. You may not see fully what I am building right now. You may not understand why some things are happening the way they are happening, but the day will come when you look back and see the pattern. You will see how every delay was designed for protection. You will see how every closed door led to a better one. You will see how every challenge equipped you for what was waiting. And on that day, you will not regret the waiting. You will be grateful for it, because you will see that it was never punishment, it was always preparation. Now let me pray for you before you go. Beloved Father, I place my hand on this dear child's head right now. I speak peace over their mind. I speak strength over their spirit. I speak clarity over their decisions. Where there is fear, I drive it out. Where there is doubt, I replace it with trust. Where there is exhaustion, I bring refreshing. This child is mine, and I never abandon what belongs to me. I am protecting them. I am leading them. I am preparing them, and very soon they will step into what I have promised. In my name, this is done. Amen. Do not let this moment pass without response. Your faith, your words, your obedience, they all matter. And as you step away from this moment, remember, you are never alone. You are never forgotten, and you are always, always loved. Hit subscribe to continue receiving the messages I want to speak to you. Each video is a reminder that I am speaking, I am listening, and I am leading you step by step. My peace goes with you, my grace covers you, and my love never leaves you.